I just want to make it very clear. America is an unbelievably violent country. This is actually what I talk about all the fucking time. I don't want America to be an unbelievably violent country. I don't want America to do unbelievable acts of violence overseas. And I want America to fix its underlying material inequities that create instability, that create chaos, that actually invokes a violent response in retaliation with people that want to take matters into their own fucking hands. This is my argument. My argument is we have to put an end to it, okay? If we want stability, if we want to combat violence, we can't just simply go, oh, violence is bad every time, when America is an unbelievably violent country. Let's get started here first, and then we'll get to the commentary around it, okay? Let's start here. Shots fired at White House Correspondents' dinner. 31-year-old, I think he's 31-year-old from Torrance, California, allegedly is staying at the Hilton where the White House Correspondents' dinner is taking place. He takes the train all the way from California to Chicago and then from Chicago to Washington, D.C. He apparently, according to the officials, has a shotgun, knives, and a handgun with him. He bum rushes through the lax security at the White House Correspondents' dinner, and he's subsequently apprehended. I believe 5 shots are fired in the process. And it turns out there's more details that have come out since then. A relative of the suspected shooter called police before last night's from the White House Correspondents Association dinner incident. The suspect's writings clearly stated he wanted to target Trump admin officials. Another family member who was interviewed by investigators after the attack said Cole Allen had a tendency to make radical statements, and his rhetoric constantly referenced the plan to do something to fix the issues of today's world. More here on his firearms training and left-wing groups he was involved with. Left-wing groups he was involved with is crazy, by the way, because I don't think he's involved with any left-wing groups. He just went to a fucking No Kings rally. But it's unbelievable that everyone from NPR down to right-wing broadcasts like Fox News are now saying, oh, he went to a No Kings rally, so that was a left-wing mobilization. He gave $25 to Kamala Harris's election, and he went to the No Kings rally. You're out of your fucking mind if you think that this is any sort of like leftist organizing. It's so stupid. Yeah. Also, for those of you who are asking if this is one of ours, he's not. He was another Ryan Ruth type almost, it seems. I don't think he was, he's not from this community. They found his Twitch account. He doesn't even follow me. He doesn't even fucking hate follow me. So there is that. Or they found the suspected Twitch account. He had a Twitter. He left Twitter. They said he's a part of the left-wing group called Wide Awakes. Yeah, he's like more of a Stancelite than anything. Wide Awakes is the most nerdy liberal thing you can ever think of. The Wide Awakes is the original, grassroots Republican paramilitary organization back when the Republicans were, for the abolition of slavery, for the record. And it's absolutely something that I could see from like a Will Stancil style student of history take the initiative on. He's a centrist liberal. Pre-woke? No, he's woke for sure. Anyway, yeah, he's reposted anti-U posts on Blue Sky. He's a Ukraine NATO liberal. I know. Yeah, he was really annoyed with the left. He's another one of those like anti-communist. He's another one of those anti-communist NATO liberals. That's what it is. I don't care. I'm not gonna fucking sit here and blame Destiny and like Dylan Burns for this shooting. Okay, because I'm not a fucking idiot. Just so you understand, I'm just giving you what the information is, because I'm not a fucking opportunist asshole, just so you understand. Why not? They're blaming you because they're fucking stupid, okay? Because they're fucking stupid. That's why. A guy from their fucking community, from their fandom, conducted this, and they think this is a great opportunity because they're fucking stupid. They think this is a great opportunity to lean into the Republican mania right now, even though the dude is most likely from their fucking community and hates me. Yeah, if I was a dumb fuck, I would do the thing that they're doing right now and be like, oh, Destiny has said heinous things about, unbelievably violent things about Donald Trump and the Republican movement. They should actually yell at him instead. Yeah, because I have fucking principles. Anyway, Let's
It was a chaotic
continue.
and confusing scene. The dinner had just gotten underway. The first time Trump has ever attended as president. I was sitting about 20 feet from him when all of us in the room heard that loud bang. The president later saying he initially thought that a tray had dropped, but it was immediately clear that that was not the case, as Secret Service agents in full tactical gear, their guns drawn, swarmed in to protect the president. Overnight chaos at the White House Correspondents' dinner, moments after it began. Law enforcement storming the stage, an agent throwing his body in front of President Trump. It was just after 8:30 p.m., just moments after the national anthem was played at the annual event. The night's performer, Oz the Mentalist, seen talking to President Trump and the First Lady when agents in tactical gear swarmed in to secure the room. Melania Trump visibly shocked, appearing to mouth, "What happened?" Secret Service agents, their weapons drawn, rushing Trump off stage. Some 26.
I'm noticing that CBS, Good Morning America, ABC, is not showing the fact that Donald Trump fell when he was running away. Interesting. Couple things that happened here that I find very strange. JD Vance got escorted before Trump did. And not only did JD Vance get escorted before Trump did, Trump fell while he was getting escorted. And there's also other funny shit that took place as well. Obviously, Kash Patel was the last to be escorted out, which was really funny. Maybe it's because he's the FBI. He's technically considered law enforcement. His girlfriend, Kash Patel's girlfriend, was caught holding hands with another man in the process. And Stephen Miller was using his pregnant wife like a body shield, which was really interesting as well. Or at least that's what the suggestion is. The manifesto also openly stated that Kash Patel was not a target. Literally, this guy said, allegedly, the alleged attempter, alleged suspect, wrote a manifesto about how he wanted to target the Trump administration officials except for Kash Patel, which is unfucking believable. This guy, oh my God, he has to get fired after all of this. He has to get fired. That even like centrist liberals who are just like, oh yeah, the president is a pedophile, someone's got to do something about it, and about it's the administration officials that are aiding and abetting this like pedophilic fascist administration, still turns around and goes, except for Kash Patel, he's fine because he's so goddamn incompetent that he's actually, he's with us. He's one of our guys. The not including Mr. Patel is fucking hilarious. Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that considering that this manifesto is now all over mainstream news, it would be unbelievably stupid for Twitch to ban me for looking at the manifesto. But, I will look at the summarized quotes from mainstream media about the manifesto to tie back to some kind of motive. I know it would be ridiculous if Twitch banned me, right? But if they did, I would just go live on YouTube. Yeah, I will do a summarization. Yeah, this is... what do you do in this situation? Blame Hasan Piker. New York Post put the entire thing up. Yeah, I know. All right, let's keep going.
600 guests packed into the ballroom at the Washington Hilton, diving to the ground, ducking under tables. Among the many journalists there, our team here at ABC. Certainly a very unsettling scene, just a few moments into this dinner. But again, we're all just trying to piece together what exactly just happened here.
I'll tell you, I've not seen moments like this since I was with the president in Butler, Pennsylvania during that attempted assassination.
Members of the administration, including Vice President J.D. Vance, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Marco Rubio, and Pete Hegseth, all evacuated. FBI Director Kash Patel right there too. Just outside the ballroom, law enforcement say the alleged attacker charged past the security checkpoint. You see him here in this video posted by the president on social media. Secret Service racing to take him down and quickly apprehending him. Seen in this photo also released by the president. One officer shot and taken to the hospital.
We do know that a U.S. Secret Service uniformed division officer was struck in his vest. He was transported to a local hospital for treatment. The suspect in this case, he was not struck by gunfire.
The president speaking at the White House a short while later, describing the moment.
I heard a noise and sort of thought it was a train.
I hate that, like, cops are always, when they do these press releases right after, they're always so cagey with the way that they describe the situation. Just like, use tactical speak to explain everything that happened, please. I don't understand. Like, they won't say who shot who. Like, they make it seem like bullets materialized out of thin air and then the suspect was not shot at all. And it's like, okay, how did you apprehend the suspect? Where did the bullets strike? Okay, I want to know, because we see in the CCTV footage, the suspect is doing a fucking Naruto run, right? And then law enforcement on scene take their guns out and start shooting at him. One guy did get shot. How did that happen? Do you think it was a crossfire event? I don't know. And no, the suspect is not going to get like a minor sentence on this because he wasn't able to successfully do the thing that he was trying to do. It's very clear he had a motive. He has a manifesto. He's getting hit with the fucking kitchen sink, okay? They're throwing everything at this guy for sure, because if he actually had all the guns, if he actually pre-planned it, like, this is pretty clear-cut, open and shut case, right? An attempted assassination. An attempted political assassination. It's just not. He's running with a shotgun at low ready position, fires into the Secret Service agent's vest with buckshot. They return fire. You can hear it on the synced video. One big boom followed by handgun fire. Yeah, yes, I did hear one boom, 5 shots total, one first shot, and then 5 successive shots. It was a matter of 2 seconds, basically. But I don't know, or not 5 successive shots, like one shot, a couple seconds in between the first shot, and then 4 additional shots. 5 total shots are heard. Okay? Hasan, weren't you on the island? What island? The Epstein Island? I'm 34 years old. If I was on the Epstein Island, I would be a victim, not an accomplice, you fucking idiot. Republicans don't understand how numbers work. They don't understand how anything works. They are just literally coming in here to be like, were you on the island? Yeah, dude, I'm the Jeffrey Epstein affiliate here, not the fucking pedophile president, dumbass. Republicans are so fucking stupid at this point. They don't understand how the passage of time works. They don't understand the concept of age.
I thought it was a tray going down. I've heard that many times, and it was a pretty loud noise. And it was from quite far away. He hadn't breached the area at all.
Officials say the alleged gunman had a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives as he charged toward the ballroom. That man, now identified as 31-year-old Cole Allen. Overnight, SWAT teams, FBI, and local law enforcement swarming his home in California.
Clearly, things are escalating now that we have this light kind of on that second floor window there and a laser being pointed at the doorbell.
ABC News learning authorities believe Allen booked a room at the Hilton early this month. Officials say he allegedly previously made reference to targeting administration officials, but was not specific. The president determined, vowing to hold the event in the coming weeks.
We very much wanted to continue it because I don't like to let these sick people, these thugs, these horrible, horrible people change the fabric of our life, change the course of what we do.
Now, the president himself personally and the country are unfortunately all too familiar now with political violence. Trump was pressed about his own security posture, but he says he's not reconsidering attending events like this in the future, saying if he were to make changes, he essentially wouldn't be able to attend anything. He said that this is essentially now just part of the job.
All right, sadly, that is the case. Mary Bruce, we appreciate it.
He obviously had TDS and an incurable disease transmitted through the Hasanabi'ist broadcast. Yeah, it's really funny that he's the suspect is not a fan of mine, as a matter of fact. He was a blue sky liberal and was the type of blue sky liberal who fucking hates me because they think I'm like pro Adolf Putler. So remember, all of those fucking same people that have been leaning into the Republicans' shit smearing operation, saying Hasan is responsible for this shooting. The shooter came from their communities. If you're a Dylan Burns fan, for example, if you're a fucking Destiny fan, that is currently leaning into the right-wing dog pile because you think it's going to fucking pack me up, you're an absolute moron. As you guys know, I'm not a fan of adventurism. Yeah, if you scroll down, this dude is not a fan of you, lol. Yeah, this is his account. He's pro-NATO. I'm anti-NATO. Not that it matters. Look. This is his account. I spend a lot of time in countries where graft and grifting are the norm, and I assure you it is truly immense cost to prevent that from taking hold in our society. You do not want to live in that kind of society. I think that we should simply run on prosecuting the rich for their crimes instead of creating a low-trust society. He was in the liberal, right-wing liberal contingency of Hasan is a malignant force on American politics. Bro is literally in the Sarah Longwell group. Yeah, it's ironic that those very same right-wing forces in the Democratic Party that are currently leaning into the Hasan is a dangerous, Hasan is a fucking dangerous force in American politics because he does violent rhetoric, don't realize that this guy was a fan of theirs and not a fan of mine, as a matter of fact. Yeah, one of the last things he fucking quote retweeted was an anti-Hasan post. Interesting. This is one of those guys who unironically thinks I'm like pro-Vladimir Putin because I'm anti-NATO, and he is like pro-NATO liberal. One of those NATO liberals, NATO Atlantis liberals. Not that it matters, but just remember, closer to a Ryan Ruth archetype than someone from my community. Yeah, a Will Stancil head. Is Will Stancil responsible for this? Fuck no. Is Sarah Longwell responsible for this? Fuck no. Are pro-NATO liberals responsible for this attempt? No, of course not. You want to know why I'm saying this? Because I'm not a fucking idiot. So remember that. If you're one of those liberals right now that's leaning into the Republican mania, one of those liberals right now that's leaning into the Republican mania and saying like, yeah, we got to do away with these fucking violent radicals in our ranks. This one was your guy. Okay, yeah, PSA, if you're equating Hasan Piker with Nick Fuentes, what you're really saying is you don't actually listen to either. I do not listen to any streamers because streamers are dumb. He spent his last couple of days writing his manifesto about how he was going to kill people in the administration, retweeting fuck Hasan takes. So remember that, you stupid fucking liberals that think this is a good opportunity to not defend on principle the concept of criticizing the fucking presidency and not. And if you're a stupid liberal right now, a right-wing liberal right now who thinks, oh, this is a great opportunity to fucking lean in to the fascist Republican administration's attempts at cracking down on speech, remember, that's your guy. He agrees with you. That's your fucking guy. The irony was him QRTing about not committing violence and he goes and tries to kill someone. Yeah, I know. That's also hilarious too. See, anti-Mehdi Hasan as well. Iranian drones are blowing up in Ukrainian cities every night. They've been for years. I don't understand what happened. I don't understand what took place with like a lot of the radical centrists. For some reason, they just like lost their dang minds, I guess. It's like another Ryan Ruth type. Anyway, there's obviously points of agreement here as well. But another instance of a radical centrist liberal snapping, it seems. It took 1 second of me listening to him speak on an older news hit that he appeared in, where he was like helping the elderly, for me to know this one was not the work of someone from this community, but this one was most likely one of those like centrist, anti-communist, anti-socialist liberals, a radical centrist, if you will. Not that there is any, I'm not holding the radical centrists responsible for this act, but it's just another reminder to the radical centrists to not lean into the Republican game here. Okay, many radical centrists who have been leaning in to the Republican game of claiming that it's always the left that is responsible, thinking that the Republicans will stop at people people like myself. You're a fucking idiot. That's why in the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk assassination, they didn't come after me. They came after Jimmy Kimmel. They think you are bad, if not worse than someone like myself. Okay? Because guess what? All of us are criticizing the president. All of us are criticizing the right. That's their fucking anger. Their anger is not about like, oh, let's do away with the radical leftists, the communists, the socialists, the anti-fascists. They consider all of us to be a part of this movement. If you have ever had any bad thought, look, there it is. Retweeting ContraPoints. And another Destiny community member, one of Destiny's moderators, when asked if he'd vote for Gavin Newsom or J.D. Vance for president, Hasan says he'd vote third party. Counterpoint, if the Prince of Darkness rises from a fiery portal and the Iowa caucus declares opposition to Donald Trump, I will ride to battle with the host of hell. I would simply not vote for a literal biblical devil from hell, but I guess I'm built different. Okay, never mind. This is actually not pro-ContraPoints. This is anti-ContraPoints. Never mind. He didn't go that far. He was not pro ContraPoints. Anyway, he didn't go that far. Even he was like, a little bit too much for me to vote for the biblical devil from hell over fucking Donald Trump. This man had his own framework, okay? And he wasn't this libbed up, okay? He was not this libbed up, it seems. Your ops don't understand the self-cannibalizing nature of right-wingers. These liberals think they're not going to be eaten first before said cannibalization kicks in. Eat the cow, Hasan, and they will come for the chickens, libs. Yeah, just remember that, okay? Remember that. Don't be a sucker. Don't be a fucking rube. Don't think that aligning with Republicans in any way, shape, or form is going to be beneficial for you. If you are anti-right, if you are anti-right-wing in any capacity, the Republicans will come after you as well. It's not going to stop at people like myself, okay? Don't be a fucking idiot. Yeah, this is Kash Patel's girlfriend who was caught holding hands with another man during the incident, tweeting about me as well. We can all disagree peacefully. We can argue all day, but the lies are now so unfounded and so fabricated that they serve the same purpose of inciting violence. The unhinged portion of the media's contribution to this narrative and clear departure from verifying truth as damaging and threatening as the violent leftist rhetoric that typically refuses to be reasoned with. Grateful for law enforcement and their work to keep us safe last night. Missed connection. I was the gentleman who held your hand in the restroom last night. Sorry, the media is making a mess of chivalrous gesture. If you want to hang out again or see a movie sometimes, please direct message me. Jawbry, is the FBI director a cuck? Please answer yes or no. Truanon Brace says, you need to cheat on your disrespected boyfriend. I will betray Hasan in a major way if you do this. DM now. Do you see Twitter auto-translate secretly adding propaganda to the translations? Wait, what? My opinion on Israel is a resilient nation with a rich history and vibrant culture, but it's also at the center of complex geopolitical tensions that demand empathy and dialogue from all sides. What's yours? If you're reading this post in English, the text you're reading is not the real text written by the author, but instead Grok's additions in order to defend Israel. The post never actually said anything other than the question and the topic. Wait, what? You're banned from San Francisco? I'm still banned. Brooke Jenkins says, I will lift a ban if Hasan Piker agrees to one night of romance with me. If you get one drink at Butterworth's with me, I will lure Hasan Piker into a trap or cage. One drink. Think on it. Brace, you fucking asshole. All right. Where were we? Yeah, let's get back to it.
From every angle, this is how the shooting at the Correspondents' dinner unfolded.
I have to
pee. Just after 8:30, this was the scene, set for the annual dinner. 2,500 in the room. In the lobby at the security checks, a man runs through the metal detectors. Shots are heard. It takes a moment for people in the room to react. The First Lady seems to be the first at the top table to realise what happened, she says. Look at this angle, 8:35. J.D. Vance, the Vice President, in the foreground. Then President Trump rushed out next. He falls to the floor in the chaos.
What appeared to be shots fired at the White House Correspondents' dinner. It's just gone. 20 to 9.
What looked like Secret Service making their way through to the centre of the area now.
The nation's top politicians rushed away.
Are you okay, sir? Were you hurt?
They'd been seated as guests at various different tables.
We're all being told to stay in the ballroom at the moment. You can see just how many people are here. An extraordinary moment. The annual White House Correspondents' dinner brought to a very, very frightening halt.
Just outside the ballroom where the shots had been fired, a suspect on the ground. The president, by now secure and back on his social media, posting these two images of...
Will you get an updated Zintin? Yeah, instead of this fight Zintin, I need to get a new one that is updated for this new attempted, possibly fake shooting.
Cole Thomas Allen, a 31-year-old from California.
Yeah, bro, you know what it is? I will say it. This, so close to the Klay Thompson situation. Light-skinned folk are not having a good time right now, okay? It kind of feels like this is Rock Nation, okay? That's right. The real conspiracy. Rock Nation.
Enforcement has requested that we leave the premises consistent with protocol. And he wanted to emphasize that nobody was hurt. He and the First Lady, the cabinet, everybody's safe.
How far does this conspiracy go?
We've all been ushered out of the Washington Hilton now, and the president has announced that he will do a news conference at the White House in half an hour's time. So we're going to head there now.
Well, thank you very much. That was very unexpected. One officer was shot, but saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was shot from very close. My impression is he was a lone wolf, whack job.
Well, that was a memorable news conference for sure, not only because it happened so quickly after the shooting, the president being ushered out, whisked out of the ballroom, driven from the Hilton back here to the White House, and then pretty much straight into the press room to deliver that news conference. But look at who was around him as well. His wife, the First Lady, was there. The Vice President flanked him as well, and so many other senior members of the cabinet. Really unusual, remarkable. But I think more broadly, you know, just to reflect on what the president is describing as another assassination attempt against him, one that this time so many of us witnessed as well.
If you're looking for answers on why false flag operation for a ballroom, that old shitty bitch is so fucking gay. I do feel like in order to entertain the false flag conspiracy, there is something very funny going on here. Where back in the day, false flags were to, like, I don't know, stamp out dissidents. Like, this is the most low-level false flag operation of all time. It's to build a ballroom. It's going to be the gayest ballroom. The best ballroom you've ever seen. Oh, it's going to be unbelievable. I'm going to make Andrew Lloyd Webber perform Cats. The biggest ballroom, a big gay ball. It's incredible. Whether the shooting was real or not is irrelevant. The funniest possible scenario is that MAGA created an alternative reality where nothing is real, and as a result, Trump must now live like Howard Hughes. 45 years ago, no one questions the Hinckley shooting outside of a small group of people in the conspiracy community. Today, a significant chunk of the public believes that every assassination attempt is a false flag. Yeah. They designed the discourse cycle to be so resistant to mainstream narratives. This comes in the same time frame as, like, there is unbelievable lack of credibility in mainstream outlets. There's no, like, whipping the public into shape in the discourse machine. There is no unified consensus reality any longer. And in the absence of unified consensus reality, you now see liberals also entertaining the same, like, conspiratorial lines of thinking. You have the anti-Israel crowd immediately going, oh, the guy was wearing an IDF sweatshirt. That's not even real, right? It's not real at all. But it doesn't matter. Now you got a flavor of conspiracy for everyone, okay? You got the anti-Israel crowd saying this is another attempt by Israel. You got the right-wing crowd going between this is why we need to build a ballroom to, like, this is why we need to kill the left because they're the fucking violent ones. Like, they can't find a consistent narrative. And then liberals almost universally are like, this is not real. This is happening only because Donald Trump's approval ratings were low, and he wants to, like, boost his approval ratings once again and also build a fucking ballroom. Like, no one has an investment in trying to arrive at consensus reality through analysis, through looking at the facts sincerely, And in a different timeline, I would probably not entertain any of these conspiracy theories and would actively spend a good chunk of my commentary yelling at liberals who say that this is a conspiracy. But we're not living in that timeline anymore, okay? And what I mean by that is, you made your bed, now lie in it, right? You made your bed, right-wingers. You said after every single shooting that this was a transgender Antifa soldier. You had no care or consideration. You disparaged mainstream outlets that were trying to actively arrive at the truth, even if they were biased, right? And many of them are. But now we are in this media environment where bias frameworks are what matters more than an intense investment in finding the truth. And now they're fucking crying. Now they're crying. Republicans are fucking crying left and right. They're like, oh, why are they saying? Why are the liberals saying it's a conspiracy to build a ballroom? Oh, it's so stupid. It's like, well, guess what, dude? The shoe's on the other foot now. Suck my dick. That's what I have to say to you, okay?
Thanks for holding. Please go ahead.
Yes, I feel like this is a derivative of bringing Hollywood to Washington, D.C.
Like, I was playing basketball today, okay? A bunch of random folk. Universally, they were like, oh, it's fake. It's another attempted assassination. Here we go. They're trying to build a ballroom. I'm not even kidding when I say this, okay? Every single person, every single normie that I encountered, outdoor courts, public parks, every single person I encountered was like, yo, y'all see that? Y'all see that fucking attempted assassination? Another fake assassination attempt? Here we go. Every single person, dude. No one fucking believes it. It is hilarious. I saw this. I saw the beginning phases, okay? With Candace Owens, my queen. I'm a clandestine operator. You guys know this. When Candace Owens came out and dropped an atomic bomb, it was like Hiroshima and Nagasaki as far as like counter narratives goes. When she came out and said Israel killed Charlie Kirk, that was a turning point. That was a turning point where people went, oh shit, you're right. Israel did kill Charlie Kirk. People still believe that shit, okay? There's people in this community that have yelled at me for saying that's probably not the case. I've given up. I have given up. Yes, that was a turning point. Okay. We are Charlie Kirk. Straight up. The Republicans were in a hurry back then to build an elaborate narrative that this was somehow born out of transgender Antifa violence, that the left was engaging in violent rhetoric, and they were so hurried with their propaganda. They did an onslaught. They were like, how dare you fucking even talk about Charlie Kirk's actual statements? How dare you criticize this person that you're supposed to venerate right now? How dare you say anything? How dare you even repeat Charlie Kirk's own sentiment? That's what they said. And they came out of the gates swinging. And what happened? Unbelievable backlash. The Google Trend conspiracies are kind of funny, you got to admit. Yeah. The anti-Israel crowd will always be like, oh, Google Trend searches for Cole Allen's name went up in Israel. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. It's so stupid, but whatever. It's very clearly a problem with like not having enough like actual. It's not even time zones, dude. It's not even time zones. Is a problem born out of like it's an algorithmic issue, okay? Because there's not enough searches for Cole Allen. There's not enough searches for Cole Allen in general. It just has it's bad programming. It just like ends up showing blips randomly. It's a Google Trends bug for the most part, but people actually think this is the most reliable way to imply that Israel is responsible for it. I mean, fuck it. What are you gonna do? If people hate Israel, I can't get ahead of them. You know, I can't get ahead of that narrative. What do you want me to do? Fucking defend Israel? I don't give a shit. I'll defend the truth. No, the pics of him in the IDF sweatshirt are not real. Hasanabi Productions posted the shooter's alleged Blue Sky account and his retweets hating your takes on voting for Dems. Is this real? Yes. Yes, he was a radical centrist.
It's a wag the dog situation. Trump did not want to be at the Correspondents' dinner. He does not like free media. And he's going to find ways through Hollywood to create situations where it's going to leave us Americans scratching our heads on what's going on. Now he has every reason to have a ballroom.
Hi, Louie. Thanks for holding.
They don't believe it. They don't believe it.
Did see some.
Oh, there's also the Erica Kirk waterworks, which a lot of people got their dunks on as well. Erica Kirk was crying, running out, and a lot of people were covering that, which I don't understand. Like, Erica Kirk wasn't there when Charlie Kirk was shot. They're making it seem like she has post-traumatic stress disorder, that she has like PTSD from like experiencing the Charlie Kirk assassination or something. It's like she wasn't, you know, she wasn't there. I don't know why they're making it seem like she was there when Charlie was shot.
I just want to go find. What we did see is some real deep, disturbed emotions in that room. One of whom was Erica Kirk. As I was walking out of the venue trying to figure
To be fair, she did see the video. Okay, so did I.
out what happened and what we could find out as a reporter. As we're walking out, she also came out, and she came right by me. It was just a few seconds, in tears, saying, "I just want to leave." Imagine her distress as she's sitting there hearing the same thing that we all heard, which was gunshots, and knowing what happened to her husband, and being in that scenario. She looked visibly terrified as she was being escorted out, and then we saw her again once she was outside of the building, kind of being surrounded and waiting to be able to leave the area completely.
Inside, they started up.
Dude, Dana White's response is so funny to this, by the way. He's like, hell yeah, this was fucking tight. Like, I feel like there's two different, somewhat extreme reactions to what took place. There's people who are like, this is 9/11. This is an attack on democracy. It's an attack on free speech. This is not who we are, when this is definitely who we are, by the way, okay? I just want to make it very clear. America is an unbelievably violent country. This is actually what I talk about all the fucking time. I don't want America to be an unbelievably violent country. I don't want America to do unbelievable acts of violence overseas. And I want America to fix its underlying material inequities that create instability, that create chaos, that actually invokes a violent response in retaliation with people that want to take matters into their own fucking hands. This is my argument. My argument is we have to put an end to it, okay? If we want stability, if we want to combat violence, we can't just simply go, oh, violence is bad every time, when America is an unbelievably violent country. The experience that the White House Correspondents press pool felt last night is an experience that is unfortunately all too fucking common in American schools, in American churches, in American mosques, in American synagogues. This happens all the fucking time, okay? One must ask the question why it happens all the fucking time. Perhaps it's because it's unbelievably easy to purchase weapons. They're everywhere, okay? The only thing extraordinary about the event that took place last night is where it took place and who the potential victims could have been. That's the only thing that's extraordinary about it. Okay, this happens on a daily fucking basis in the United States of America. For the average person, this is a real fear that they have in the back of their minds when they're going to shop at their local grocery store, when they go to their places of worship. So in some ways, Dana White's unbelievably sociopathic reaction to it is more normal than the way that others are encountering the situation, where they're like, this is a terrifying prospect. I mean, it is a terrifying prospect.
All of a sudden, it just started getting noisy. Tables getting flipped over, guys running in with guns, and they were screaming, "Get down!" I didn't get down. It was fucking awesome. I literally took every minute of it in, and it was a pretty crazy, unique experience.
So you were on the
It's fucking awesome. Brother is riding high off that adrenaline boost, okay?
What exactly
we were sitting right in front of the table.
Okay.
Right in front of where the president was.
Yes, and what exactly happened? So someone got tackled, or like what?
Nobody got tackled, but guys came in looking for shooters. And they came toward our table. I thought the shooter was over by us or something.
Guys, an extraordinary last 12, 13, 14, 15 hours in this country. One thing that I'm disturbed by as we woke up this morning is seeing folks on the internet say that this was a false flag, that we are basically all in cahoots to say that this was staged. And I think as someone who, for all of us, who was in the room, who had to jump on the ground, who had to text our family and friends and tell them that we're okay, calling our moms, like so many people in this country have done, for decades, to see people say those kinds of things, it is frustrating and it's disturbing. It shows the issues that we have to try and fix in this country. And I think nothing taught us anything better than, the importance of journalists being on the ground, in the room, for moments of historic significance. Then last night, us all dropping to the ground, and literally like 5 seconds later, phones up and around so that the American people get a firsthand account of what's happening in.
Weren't you interviewed by this person in the past? Yeah, he's a Hasanabi head. He's cool.
A room where the most powerful people, including the president and vice president of the United States, were at.
I saw something that, the false flag, this was staged, is a big thing in MAGA world, but I'm hearing that.
Yes, liberals are doing it too. Guess what? This is now how things go, okay? This is just how it is. This is just how it is, okay? No one trusts mainstream resources anymore. Liberals don't either. And unfortunately, this is in many respects born out of the Republican intensity to immediately rush to create biased frameworks in the aftermath of every single fucking mass shooting, every single instance of violence. And now liberals are doing it too. They're fighting fire with fire in some ways. Yeah. Matthew Petty says, we live in the golden age of lone wolf assassinations where people don't feel any organized political agency, but are learning that it's not as hard as it seemed to kill someone from TV if you don't care about the consequences. At the same time, the president is the hardest target. People keep trying to murder the president and are bad at it is the least surprising thing for anyone who's been paying attention over the past few years or so. So we will probably see more crazy people with inscrutable politics who would otherwise shoot up a mall, successfully killing mid-level electeds, bureaucrats, media talking heads, etc., while running up against the wall when it comes to real VIPs. This is also why the attempts to paint a nebulous Antifa group as a modern incarnation of the Weather Underground fall flat. There's plenty of radicalism and political violence, but it's just as atomized as normal society and probably couldn't survive in any organized form anyway. We live in an unbelievable surveillance state. So any kind of real organizing that would try to attempt to do organized violence directed at people with real political power is going to immediately get destroyed. It's going to get infiltrated by federal agents, members of law enforcement. It's going to fucking get destroyed. Ben is replying to every tweet blaming you now. I just want to remind every fucking, once again, look, liberals, I hope this is, I mean, you're not in here right now, but if you see this on the timeline, if you see this in a TikTok or something, liberals, remind yourself that they are using the narratives that you concocted to attack other politicians of the Democratic Party right now. Just remember, all of that whole like, Hasan is violent, is a malignant force. Mallory McMorrow entertained these idiotic fucking conspiracies. And now, Sarah Longwell, Neera Tanden, Mallory McMorrow, Third Way. You concocted this fucking media cycle. It's been 2 months now. And now Republicans are using it against beloved left and even liberal politicians. Good job. Good fucking job. We've reached a point where people are so disenfranchised that they want direct results. They're tired of wishy-washy bullshit. Unfortunately, people are starting to see violence as a viable option because if they aren't going to listen to reason, you might as well eliminate them off the board to shake it up. I mean, this is the attitude that some people have. It's dangerous. It creates instability. As I say over and over again, I engage in systemic critique. And for the average person, the situation is already unstable. The situation is already chaotic. Isn't that what they want? So you don't associate with politicians? I know, but they're fucking stupid because they don't understand. They are the ones who leaned into this nonsensical bullshit, okay? They're the ones who lean into this nonsensical bullshit, and it's going to end up hurting them too. They don't get it. Because from a Republican's perspective, there is no difference between me and Sarah Longwell. There is no difference between me and Mallory McMorrow. Republicans will use anything and everything. That's why I kept repeating over and over again. They call all of you communists, you fucking idiot. Shut up. They call Nancy Pelosi a communist. They call Kamala Harris a communist. They don't make any distinction between people like myself and people like yourselves. The idea that like there's any sort of serious, significant distinction where Republicans will see reason and will spare you is idiotic. They'll come after you first, probably, before they come after me. You're more annoying to them than I am. It's so funny that liberals don't realize this. The only person that they don't actively go after is John Fetterman, because John Fetterman is a reliable servant to the Republican agenda. That's it. Everyone else is an op. Everyone else is absolutely in the fucking crosshairs. If you are anti-Trump in any way, shape, or form, you're in the motherfucking crosshairs. Wake up.
On my social media pages, from people on the left also thinking that this was staged, that this was a false flag. That
it's not people on the left, buddy. It's your voters. It's the people that vote just like you do. Okay, if you're a liberal, if you're a lifelong Democratic Party voter, plenty of lifelong Democratic Party voters are the ones who actually believe this shit now.
This is something being done on purpose. And hearing you speak, Eugene, if it's coming from the right and it's coming from the left, these conspiracy theories, it says to me that there feels to be a lack of trust in this country.
Do you believe it? No, I don't. I don't actually believe it. I don't actually believe it, but I'm not going to spend a good deal of time, shitting on those who do. Let's just say it's not my responsibility anymore, man. I have spent years and years trying to tackle disinformation on the right. And what did I get in return for it? I've been presented as the left's Alex Jones. I will continue tackling the disinformation on the right and even the disinformation on the liberal side and on the left as well, because I care about the truth more than anything else. But, I'm not going to be on the front lines consistently fucking disparaging these rumors, It's ridiculous. So, no, if you ask me what my actual opinion is, no, I don't think this was a calculated false flag attack to try and justify the ballroom, but I do think it's a very funny narrative that many people believe. There's also a crisis in the legitimacy of these institutions as well. When Kash Patel is the one running the FBI, who the fuck's gonna believe the FBI? Who's gonna believe law enforcement?
And if people can't see that a room full of journalists ran out of the room, got in front of cameras, got on their platforms, telling people what happened in the room. If you cannot trust what we are telling you, I don't think that's an issue of journalism. That is an issue of American society. And so if you're watching The Weekend, you've been watching us, you've watched us now for 4 hours, I hope you know that we are telling you, because we were in the room. We were sitting right next to each other. Jackie was right next to me, to my left, and Eugene was...
Yeah, another problem with the crisis of confidence in mainstream resources and mainstream news also stems from the realities that unfolded in Israel, in the hands of Israel, against Palestinians, and the way that the mainstream media covered it for the past 2.5 years. Most people no longer trust mainstream reporting, because mainstream resources did what they always do and leaned into State Department-backed narratives over and over again, when the reality was indisputable that there was a genocide going on. And they just kept, talking about student protesters. They kept disparaging people who were critical of what Israel was doing. And in the aftermath of that, especially when paired up with a tremendous amount of independent news resource that people could rely on, some of which who actually do lean into biased narratives, biased frameworks, rather than maintain the highest priority to the truth. All of a sudden, you're going to have this chaotic media environment where no one fucking trusts mainstream resources any longer. This is another thing that I've talked about over and over again for years now, for years and years. If you do not establish credibility, if you don't report on the hard truths, even if it actually goes against the interests of the State Department, if you lean into being a stenographer for both Israel and the United States of America, people are going to check out. People are never going to trust you again. Or it's going to take a long time for people to rebuild that confidence and trust in mainstream reporting in general. These are some of the impacts. If you're sitting around going, how can nobody trust us? It's because we now live in a media environment, a media landscape where there's no objective, no consensus reality, and no interest in the truth whatsoever. People would much rather lean into biased narratives than try to figure out what the truth is. That's it. And the algorithms reward this. The algorithms abso-fucking-lutely reward biased narratives rather than objective truth. I'll give you an example, okay? There are plenty of people who have tweeted out about how silly this stuff is, right? How silly it is that people think that this is, how silly it is that this is, people are thinking this is a conspiracy. Okay, look at my tweet. I jokingly, in the beginning, right as the shooting was happening, right as the shots were fired, said this. Just now, Caroline Leavitt calls on everyone to watch tonight because Donald Trump will bring the heat and there will be shots fired. I said, what does she know? 110,000 likes. 110,000 likes on this. When you got the president lying with everything that he says, when you have the media that can't even hold him to account, when you have institutions that are run by incompetent charlatans like Kash Patel, how do you expect large majority of voters, large majorities of American citizens, regardless of whichever ideology they lean into, to trust any of these mainstream institutions? This is a dialectic.